Did you ever wonder what it would be like to listen to two really hip gals sitting in a coffee shop talking about, well, you know, solving the world's problems and, I don't know, babies and tank tops and stuff like that? Well, if you haven't, you should meet our next two guests. Steph Walton and Lauren Schiller. They are Lady Brain.
Hi.
How are you?
It's great to be here. I love that intro.
Well, thank you. You can, you can package it and put it back on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We may use that.
Yeah.
We might just use that.
Now, for those people who are not lucky enough to know about your show, tell them, what is Lady Brain?
The Lady Brain Show is, well, first of all, you can watch it right here on Comcast Hometown
you're
Network.
our compatriot, that's right.
Saturday nights at 10.
Yep.
We're also on the radio at KNEW in San Francisco. We're on in Sacramento as well, in Phoenix. It started out, Lauren and I, just kind of sitting around trying to figure out how can we get famous? No, how can we put ourselves out there?
That's right. Well, we would have these incredible conversations where we were not only solving the world's problems, but solving our own problems.
Right.
Yeah.
And just talking about stuff that, the most intimate, crazy stuff, but with no filter, just putting it. I mean, Steph really brings that out in people. You might have noticed. She's
shy.
Not.
It's pathetic.
And we thought, why take these conversations that are typically considered private and keep them private? Why not put them on the air? Why not broadcast them to millions of people? Because other women are probably having these same conversations at home, and why not spark those discussions, around these same kind of unfiltered areas?
Yeah, now, I've been lucky enough to be on the show, and it's really more fun than anyone should have with their clothes on. I mean, it's pretty great. But how did the idea start? I mean, you're both East Bay gals, and there's a family connection here, right?
There's a family connection. Our husbands are cousins, and so we had been around each other and hanging out for a number of years before we actually did this, and we started this 4 years ago as a podcast. And we were like, what is nobody else doing? Besides, I mean, the unfiltered factor, there's nothing really, there's no topic we won't touch, there's nothing we won't discuss, and we do share our own personal information all the time, which we believe makes it great for people like, the guests that come on our show to also kind of let their guard down and just sort of flow.
Well, so it's like Facebook for radio.
That's a good way of putting it. We talk about it
Minus
being kind
the fighting.
Right,
Yeah.
we kind of talk about it as Howard Stern meets Terry Gross. So a little bit of,
Filth.
filth.
Yeah, but not real
With
filth,
a little bit
nice
of seriousness.
filth.
Nice filth.
No,
Filth-
good filth. I
Yeah,
mean,
inviting filth.
Yeah.
we talk about stuff that happens to our bodies, and hopefully, possibly to other people's bodies. I don't think it's just us. We bring that stuff out in the open. We talk about career stuff. We talk about motherhood. It comes into the picture because we both have kids. We talk about, anything that you encounter on a daily basis that can be irritating. We cover that. I mean, it really does run the gamut. And then anything happening in pop culture. I mean, there's always an opinion to be thrown about, on that kind of thing too.
So now, what do we think of Kate's? What's her wife? It's Princess Kate.
Kate Middleton.
Kate Middleton. So what do we think of that portrait?
Oh my gosh, that was horrible.
So you've seen it, of course.
Oh,
I haven't seen the
I
portrait.
gasped.
Okay.
Please tell Lauren that
Okay,
they did the
so-
official portrait of Kate Middleton, and it's not great.
She's so beautiful. How can that be?
She is so beautiful, and I can't remember the artist's name, but someone who was commissioned by the royal family to do this portrait, and it's huge, and everybody's in this art gallery, and there's a picture of it. I think I saw it on Gawker, and people are kind of like, oh God! I mean, bags under the eyes, a weird, almost half smile on her.
Maybe trying to make her look like a Windsor. I mean, I don't know.
She's so beautiful, and he said she's almost too beautiful to paint. Well, honey,
He
bring
captured
some of the
that.
beauty into it.
Yeah.
It was not good.
Now, besides pop culture and stuff, I mean, have you ever had someone on the show that you thought, boy, this interview is going south quick, and I got to get him out of the set?
We've never had that happen. I mean, knock on wood. Yeah, exactly, knock on wood. I mean, the way that we structure our show, it's very much like this. It's a conversation. We are really interested in what people have to say, and we like bringing out, the exciting things that they're doing, even if they don't even realize what they're doing is great. I mean, there's always a good question to be answered.
Yeah.
Once we had a guy on who had written a book about how to spot and label chicks.
Chick spotting.
Literally, and it was not only,
like straight guy
and he
chicks,
he labeled
chicks.
them.
I mean, gay. I had to shift for a
No,
second.
you're absolutely
I got
right.
it.
Right. And how to label them according to their ethnicity, their promiscuity level, and there was a legend on every sort of. It was unreal, and we found ourselves, we were sort of uncomfortable because we wanted to
That
sort
has
of
to be a
nail him.
joke.
It was tough.
It did seem like a joke, but he was very serious about it.
He was very serious
and so
about it.
We
So
didn't want to
was
be rude, so we had to just sort of keep conducting the interview in a way that helped. He unveiled himself to be who he was.
Sure,
we
sure.
weren't putting anything on him that he didn't already start.
What kind of chick were you? Did he label you?
Oh, I think I was the Taco-licious or
You were the Taco Bell.
Taco
Oh.
Bell, right, Taco Bell. Because, of course,
Yeah.
I'm Mexican. But then I wanted to, you know, and when I asked him that question, I'm like, do you not see that that might be offensive? And Lauren had some pretty hard-hitting questions, and he was like, I love women. And we're going, oh, my God, and you're, let me guess, single. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was shocking to him.
And then after we were done, we were both kind of like, oh my gosh, how maybe we should have handled that more differently. And some of the people in the room said, you should have just nailed him. And others were like, no, it was good. I think we would next time, I don't know. Just, I would never have a conversation like that with somebody on the street and say, oh my God, you're such an a-hole.
Yeah.
You know, and instead we conducted ourselves, I think, professionally, but who knows? That was the
But it
one
sounds
that
like
sort
that
of
was
went
one
awry.
of the only times that caught you off guard, because you all are pretty comfortable on camera and on mic.
Yeah, it's not. It caught us off guard, but it was just more the fact that there could actually be a person in the world that
Like
could
that.
think so strangely,
Yes,
and then
yes.
justify it by saying, "Well, I met tons of girls at parties in Florida who thought that those descriptions were completely accurate." So we're like, "Okay, well, you obviously have your evidence, so okay,
There you go.
good luck with your book."
What do your husbands think of this? The cousins?
Oh, this is too funny. So I would say quite often, I would say occasionally, but really quite often, the husbands do come into the discussion. And I always forget that eventually my husband might actually be watching the show. So he actually watched last week's show where I was talking about his feelings about vasectomies and whether we wanted to have more kids or not. And I was just revealing all of this stuff on the air. Just not even occurring to me that he might watch it and what he might think about it. And I sat there watching him watch it last week, and I thought, well, I hope that whatever I said was accurate and that it wasn't completely offensive. And I apologize in advance for anything that I might have
It's probably
said.
cheaper
I don't
than
even
therapy.
remember what I said.
Yeah,
Cheaper than therapy.
exactly.
Right, and then sometimes he'll turn to me and be like, "Do you really think that?"
What did he say about that, about the kids and the
He
vasectomy?
just laughed. I mean, it wasn't.
But it's kind of fun. I mean,
anything we hadn't already
like,
talked about.
I wouldn't say you got me in trouble with my husband, but, I came back and we watched, and Alfredo said, you were talking about lube. And I was like, I said, well, I didn't talk about lube. And he's, no, but you don't talk about lube on your show. Of course, here I am now.
Right,
Talking about there's a first
But
for
it's
everything.
a gay show. I mean, I should have talked about it before now.
And
but-
lube, lube is one of those universal topics. Like, we're not gay, but we love lube. You love lube and you're gay. It's great. I mean,
Well, that's a
here we
perfect
are.
example of what we will talk about on the show, because lube is something that is really
It
kind of
crosses-
kept under wraps. No,
Yeah.
but it crosses all sexuality lines, right? But it's not something that comes up in everyday conversation,
No.
and so we like to bring that stuff to the surface.
Now, do you think there is a political, or I don't do you think, is there a political agenda to your show?
Sometimes.
I would say there's a leaning, but I wouldn't say there's an agenda.
Right, well, I mean, we know it's left, but it hasn't quite capsized. But, I mean,
But we kind of pride ourselves on being able to hear all sides of a discussion, but definitely are not shy about saying what our opinion is on our particular.
But no, I guess what
points
I
of
mean
view.
about a political agenda, not a political agenda, but, 20 years ago, there wouldn't have been a gay man with a show. I don't know if there'd have been a show
Two
with
women,
two straight
right,
women kind of
in there,
hang out
that
like
aren't 25 with boob jobs. I mean,
Well,
like we're here,
27 minus
right.
the boob jobs.
30.
I mean,
I mean, if we're stretching.
okay.
Years old,
Right.
Yeah, right.
if that.
We're definitely, we don't hide how we feel about anything.
Mm-hmm.
And when, marriage equality comes up, we share our opinions about it.
Yeah.
We are for people. I mean, does that have to have a political agenda tied to it? No. I mean,
Women's rights, birth control, all those kind of hot rod or lightning rod.
Yeah.
I just coined a new
Like
term.
the hot rod issues, I like it.
when it comes to our bodies,
Yeah.
our choices, stay out. This is my region.
Yeah.
I'll make the decisions.
Yeah.
Where that's
Yeah,
concerned.
south of the border is
south of the border is really up
me,
to me.
Is me. Now, talking about politics, I'm sure you've gotten lots of fan mail, but have you ever gotten any hate mail?
Oh yeah.
We do. We have.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
We get when we talk about things like. We had a lot of people step up and say, "You guys need to just shut your mouths around this whole, this vagina, can't say it, don't legislate it thing." We got some hate mail around that. What else? We got a really angry Mohican from I don't remember where that dude was
I
from.
can't remember what we were talking about, but we were talking about this idea that. Women masseuses, or there was something where we were referring
That was
to
the-
young
that-
women.
yeah.
doing something in the sex trade, maybe. I don't even know. And what we ended up getting back was, you two could never be those women. You two could never be those.
Nose hang.
Yeah, what's that necklace you're wearing? You got almonds on your chest.
I'm going to call you. Here's my number. And then we called him, and he never, ever picked up the phone. Hey, it's Steph and Lauren from the Lady Brain Show. Yeah, we call back.
And we write back.
You should have just put the number in, you searched it on Google.
Right.
Because you
I've
get
done
a whole
that before, too, just to make sure that there's not somebody completely insane that we need to lock our doors.
Well, yeah, that needs to, like, have
Yeah.
large ammunition cartridges
but the
taken
best
away
was
from
when
them.
I did tell a story about having to pee out the window once as a kid in the car on a long trip, and somebody called and was very upset.
He was very angry with her parents for allowing a little girl to pee out the window.
Oh, it wasn't because you were talking about urination.
No,
it was
her
because
parents
bad
had failed.
parenting.
Right. But that we also suck.
My parents are great parents.
I was going to say
They're
something
wonderful
against
human
them.
beings.
Yeah, I mean, we've dished you and other people. We haven't dished your parents. What are they like? I'm sure they're saints.
They're great.
Saints.
They're fabulous individuals. Look at what they created.
Yeah.
You know?
And
they're both still with us on this plane.
My mom still is. My father no longer. But her parents are, and it's like you're not gonna. We're just telling stories. This is what happened. If you don't like it, find a real reason to be mad at us. Really.
No, the parents are super supportive. There's nothing better when your mom says, you know what, you have a great show. It should be national, honey. Congratulations on everything you've achieved. I mean, that still feels really good, even at our age.
Whose approval do you want more than anybody in the entire world? Your parents.
Right.
My mom watches our show every single week and will leave me messages. She'll text, sometimes she'll call, and she'll go, and when Lauren said such and such, and oh my gosh, when Will Durst was on and you guys made him laugh, that was a great moment in television, honey.
Yeah.
And so, that puts a little spring in our step, for sure.
In our last few moments, tell me where you got the inspiration to be who you are. I mean, I remember very clearly growing up a little boy in Virginia, sitting at the farmhouse with my great aunts, and they're all sitting around in slips with the toothbrushes and the picks and the the rollers. All the men are in the other room smoking, but somehow I was in the kitchen with the 4 great aunts, right? I know that's what made me gay and want to be on TV. How about
that
you?
made you gay?
Yeah.
They made me gay. It was the slips and the picks.
It was the slips and the picks.
The rollers, damn it.
Yeah.
You know what? I knew from a very young age that I wanted to be on the radio or on TV. I remember writing letters to my favorite broadcasters as a kid. So I've always been drawn to that. And when we met, we just sort of knew that this was something that we were going to try to do on our own. And so we just went for it.
In our last few moments, your inspiration.
I've never been shy about giving people advice, whether they like it or not, sometimes to their chagrin, sometimes to their benefit. And I love talking about things that people normally sweep under the rug. So it's just kind of the perfect forum to be able to do that.
And it doesn't seem to be hard. I mean, you really seem to like each other.
Yes.
I mean, once we get off the set, are you going to go at it?
We rode here together. We call each other, what are you wearing? What do you want to have for lunch?
Exactly.
No, this is it. We're in it for the long haul. It's a good thing.
Yeah, now you said your parents give you advice. What about the kids?
Oh, yeah, constantly.
They constantly, and they're...
Wardrobe advice, mostly.
Got it. Well, next up, we're going to hear about the kids and their wardrobe advice. With Steph and Lauren, I'm David Perry. Watch Lady Brain and tune in next week and hopefully watch 10%. Thanks so much.